Hey everybody, this episode of Dr. Drew After Dark is brought to you by Upstart, Best Fiends, and Made in Cookware. I'll tell you all about those guys a little bit later. But a reminder, do not forget, go to merchmethod.com/Tom Segura. That guy Tom Segura, you've heard of him maybe? Well, anyway, you go to merchmethod, M-E-R-C-H, method.com/Tom Segura to get your new Dr. Drew After Dark t-shirts. Love to see you all walking around with those shirts out there. We appreciate it very much, being part of the community and supporting us, and build it out. Tell a friend. We do appreciate it. Now let's get into the show. Hi, I'm Dr. Drew, and this is Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. Hey, and welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. We appreciate you guys continuing to support us. Send in those voice messages at 818-253-1693. And of course, the emails at drdrewafterdark, D-R-D-R-E-W after dark at gmail.com. And give us also your suggestions, who you'd like to book on the show, you'd like to see me talk to, what kinds of, if there's other people, who else's wives, Bert Kreischer's wife, probably coming up, Nadav, or she already been aired?
No. She's coming up. Or actually, yeah, she would have already been out by the time we record this.
Give me more suggestions nonetheless. Today, it's a great privilege to have Jobrani in here. Hey, man, how are you?
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Yeah. Ooh, applause from back in the peanut gallery. This is fantastic.
The sound booth likes me.
So, are you living out? You're living out here now?
Yeah, I live in LA. Yeah.
Is that where you're from?
I was born in Iran, and then I grew up in Northern California and moved down to LA in end of '93 to start a PhD program in political science at UCLA.
Wow!
And I dropped out the first year.
Where'd you get your undergraduate from?
UC Berkeley. So
crazy.
Yeah, it was poli-sci and Italian. Yeah.
And what was the discipline going to be? What were you interested in?
Well, again, having immigrant parents, at a young age, like in 9 or 10, I fell in love with what Eddie Murphy was doing. I wanted to be Eddie Murphy.
Right.
And I started doing plays in school, and I loved doing plays, and I loved being on stage. But my immigrant parents,
Oh, I see.
No, lawyer, doctor, or engineer, right?
Your dad.
Yeah.
No, cannot.
Yeah. I'm telling you, my dad was like, so my mom would say, listen, just be a lawyer and then do the jokes on the side. I thought, like, how does that work? And,
so good. I like that.
Yeah, all the time. And then my dad, in all honesty, like my dad, like at one point he took me on a serious walk. He's like, son, I have some bad news to break for you. I said, what is it? He goes,
to break for you.
Yeah.
Not to break bad news,
yeah.
But to break for you.
He's like, you cannot be in Hollywood. We are not Jewish. I was like, what? He wasn't like anti-Semitic, but he honestly thought like he had to be Jewish.
It's so funny.
I was like, Dad, I just want to be a comedian. And so anyway, that's why I went that route.
Now, do you live across the bridge? Is that where all the Iranian...
You mean in Northern California?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Marin. So yeah.
That's where all the Iranians live.
Well, what's interesting is there was a handful of Iranians. When I moved, we came at right before the revolution, late 78. Yeah. And I always tell this story. I go, nobody knew the revolution was going to happen.
Which is weird to me, that this massive change occurred without people knowing.
Because I think people thought that the Shah was going to squash it again the way he had maybe in the past. So my father was on business in New York. And he sent for my mom to bring me and my sister just for our 2-week winter break. And I always say we came for 2 weeks and we stayed for 40 years. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It really is.
Was it upsetting to you at the time?
I'm a kid. As a kid, like I have young kids now, and I was just talking about this today. Kids are so resilient, as you know. Yeah. So I think for me, what it was at first when we went to New York, so my father had been a successful businessman in Iran, so he had a lot of money. And when we went to New York to meet him for his business trip, he was staying in a suite at the Plaza Hotel across the street from FAO Schwartz.
Oh boy.
So I'm a 6-year-old kid. I'm like, oh my God, the best toy store in the world is across the street. I'm on break.
And the other corner is the park.
Yeah, the park's the other corner. It's fantastic. So I think for me, I was like, this is, I was having a blast. I was on vacation. We would order strawberries and whipped cream from room service. We would. I went to my favorite color was the color orange. Yeah. Because in Iran, Canada Dry used to make a orange Fanta type drink. Yeah. So kids just loved the color orange. So my mom
didn't go for the Faygo.
No Faygo. No, just the orange. And we went to Macy's, and they had a Snoopy ski hat scarves, and gloves. This is middle of the winter in New York.
Yeah.
And they were orange and white striped, and I fell in love with it. So I'm getting scarves. I'm getting everything.
This is the greatest thing ever happened to you.
I loved it, and I was
when
like,
did the axe come down?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the axe came. Well, it did, but as a kid, it just was a continual vacation at first.
Oh, really?
Because we were in New York for a while, and then things were getting worse in Iran. I have no idea really what's going on, right? I mean, whatever. Ted Koppel, if somebody would be on the news, but I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah.
And then we moved. Then we tried to settle in New York, and it was so cold that my mom said, "No, let's get out of here."
And we've got to remind ourselves that it's not like now when you can look on the internet what's going on in Iran. You would get the 5-minute nightly news report, and that's it.
That's it. And I'm guessing my parents, even to this day, there's a lot of older Iranians who are like, when we go back, when we go back to home in our Iran, I'm like, it's been 40 years, man. You're in America. It's like, learn the language, It's just, so you run into that a lot. And we just kept going. We went to Reno, where my dad had a friend, and it was funny because my dad liked to gamble. So we'd be at the MGM Grand, and then my mom would be like, your father's thinking about buying the hotel. He was trying to buy hotels.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then they would, because he'd gamble so much, they would give us these suites.
Oh, yeah.
So we're sitting again in the suites, strawberry with whipped cream, having a blast. I mean, playing video games, with the quarters they'd give you.
You're the first comedian I've spoken to that had this charmed childhood. It's like, why did you ever leave that childhood?
Well, meanwhile, though, there's a revolution going on in my country.
Who cares? You got strawberry whipped cream.
Yeah, exactly. But eventually we ended up settling in Northern California. And what was interesting was up there was a handful of Iranians.
Are you still close to any of them? Because I know a few down here now that were from there.
Yeah, there's a few that I'm still relatively close to. Some of my closest friends from there. I mean, listen, that's a thing that was different from LA. LA has the biggest population of Iranians outside of Iran,
other than Newport Beach.
Well, you know what I'm saying, Southern California.
Right.
But I did not. I was not used to seeing so many Iranians. So in Northern California, if you ran into an Iranian, it was kind of a cool event. And you'd be like, "Are you Iranian?" And be like, "Yes, I'm Iranian."
Oh, now there's
God.
big events and things, and festivals and all kinds of stuff.
No, but back then it was like I went to like a deli there was a deli that was owned by a Persian dude, and when he found out I was Iranian, he tried to give me a free cookie. He's like, have a cookie. And my buddy Mark was like, "Bro, you keep getting free stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's we're homeboys,
it's brotherhood."
Yeah, but then you come down to LA. And you run into an Iranian, you're like, "Are you Iranian?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, so is everybody else. This is Westwood, dude."
And then there's Armenian Jews and there's all kinds of subsets of Iranians.
Yeah, Armenians over near where you are, and all. Yeah, it's all over the place.
Is that Armenians totally different?
Well, there's Iranian Armenians.
There are?
Oh, yes.
I had no idea.
Dude, whenever I do the Pasadena Ice House, I get Iranian Armenians, but I also get like Lebanese Armenians, and I get Armenians are some of my favorite audiences.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's no judgment. They just come and they just want to have a good time.
Oh, yeah. They're good with humor.
Oh, they're good with humor. Yeah. So whenever I do the Ice House.
I believe seriously they're the lost tribe of Israel. I believe that seriously. The humor, the in and out of the language, their relationship with the clergy, everything about it is exactly the same. Just kind of went in another direction.
Let me tell you something, man. Whether it's like my Arab friends, Jewish friends, Armenian friends, Iranian, I feel whenever I'm in these communities, I'm like, wow, there's so much like my experience. That's why as a comedian, I stopped saying like my Iranian parents do this. I started saying my immigrant parents do this.
Because it is common. Nigerian immigrants are having this experience right now.
Yeah.
And Chinese immigrants are having this experience. Yeah. And Vietnamese immigrants are having this experience. And that's something that has been documented. It takes about 3 generations for you to hit. Are you the third? Your kids.
Well, yeah. So what was interesting was coming out of. So I should be a doctor or a lawyer because really
you fucked up totally.
I fucked up big time because they came usually these parents come and they go, "We got you this country.
Yeah.
We worked hard. Now you do something reputable and respectable."
And it's always delayed gratification, special purpose.
Yes.
Then you're doing it for the rest of the ones we left behind and all the you're representing here.
Dude, this term of like the community. I had in my mind like they had in me like people will talk. Like, the community will talk. Who is this community and why are they talking?
There are 5 Iranians up in Iran.
I'm telling you. I actually say, like I do it in my act now, I say, I feel like when I did this, when I decided to be a stand-up and left that other route, I feel like I had to rebel against my dad, I rebelled against my mom, and I rebelled against the community. And I feel like I heard them talking, saying like, "Did you hear about Jobrani's son? He is almost a drug dealer." That's how they saw this shit.
Yeah. I get it. I'm sort of I'm a 3rd generation immigrant too.
Yeah.
And
what's your background?
The Belarus, Ukrainian, and just full you're doing it for everybody.
Because you hear, listen, we have a term called the American dream. There's no something called the Russian dream or the Iranian dream. There's no other dreams. Right. Only in America can you have a dream.
And when a Russian is here, he is having the American dream else.
Yeah. And when your parents bring you here, they go, no, we don't have dreams. Yeah. You do my dream, right. And then your kids can do your dream. Right. That's what it is.
That's true. That's really funny. Yeah. That's very funny.
Yeah.
Was there a trauma growing up or anything?
My trauma, I think like a lot of my stuff was, first of all, I love psychology. I studied political science, but if I could go back to college, I would definitely study psychology because I love looking at stuff and going, why do I do that?
Well, there's a relationship between political science and psychology too, right?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of political scientists don't like to look at that, but it's there. You can't ignore it.
No, absolutely. And I think, and also there's a relationship between stand-up comedy and psychology.
For sure.
I mean, I say this on stage and I go, this happened because when I was in the 4th grade, there was the hostage crisis was happening. And back then they would call you a fucking Iranian. That's what they would call you. And a lot of my friends would get beaten up. I didn't get beaten up, but I would get called fucking Iranian. And I remember there was these, I was in the 4th grade, there was these 6th graders, they would call you fucking Iranian. And then one day, these kids stole my pedals from my bike. And I don't know why, they just took the pedals. And there was this black kid, and I've turned this into the act. There was a black kid in the 5th grade. And he kind of like talked to me and like helped me deal with it. And in the act, I say he didn't, these aren't the words, but I said he put his arm around me. He said, let's take a walk, buddy. Listen, I've been dealing with this shit for 200 years.
Yeah, right.
You either got to see a therapist or become a comedian. That's it. And I became a comedian, man. And so I feel like I do work a lot of that stuff out, So the trauma might have been some of that stuff. Some of the trauma might have been being a foreign kid in a new land and not like trying to blend in.
Did you speak English?
I went to an English-speaking school in Iran. Yeah. So they taught us English and Persian. But what was interesting, I've actually, in my analyzing myself, I remember I used to go shopping with my mom and she would get one cart just filled with the foods that we need. And then I would get another cart just filled with junk food.
Of course.
And it wasn't like it is now. Like parents didn't know or care.
Right.
So like I had Twinkies. Like Twinkies was my welcome to America. I was like, what a country. You get to eat the top and then lick the cream? Come on. So I was like, I would take, so then what would happen is I go to lunch sometimes and I would have my sandwich with my drink and some snacks. And then I'd have another bag just filled with snacks.
Oh, wow.
And I'd be handing out Starbursts at lunch.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, wait a minute. I learned to bribe my way into friendships.
Yep.
Right. I also love being funny, like, just telling jokes and stuff. And I guess part of that might've been because I used to watch the shit out of cartoons. Because my parents,
which cartoons?
Woody Woodpecker, Popeye, Bugs Bunny, all those
classic, the ones that used to be in movie theaters.
Yeah, like early '80s, I'm there, and like that's what's on, and I'm watching. And my parents don't like. Again, like nowadays, they were like, "Oh, you've had enough screen time." Right, my parents were like, "More screen time." They were like, "Go learn more English." So I would learn from those guys. I think I try to be funny, and then the other thing, I was a pretty good athlete. So I think those 3 things helped me cope with like finding friends and feeling like I fit in.
What was your sport?
Soccer was definitely my sport.
So fish out of water is sort of the trauma for you.
There's some of that. And then the other trauma again, looking back on it, was my mother and father did not have a good relationship. Yeah. So my father, looking back on all this stuff, he's passed away since, but my dad was like larger than life. He was super charismatic. He'd walk into a room and just like own the room. And to the kids, he was like, he used to use an expression, you're the light of my eyes, so we were like, we could do no wrong. And he was super generous with us. And he would like, again, he reminds me of the character, the Michael Corleone, the Vito Corleone character in Godfather, the actual Godfather.
The Godfather, yeah.
Because people would come to my dad with their problems and he would help them. Like they'd be like, I don't have any money. My dad would here's $10,000. Don't worry, pay me back whenever you want.
Ooh.
That's and I thought at first it was just stories he was telling until friends of his would tell me later. They'd be like, if it weren't for your father, I couldn't have left Iran. Like
when he died, a whole bunch, they would show up.
People were telling me stories here and there. So he was super generous, and I think that helped me learn to be generous in my life. So
that's the Starbursts.
That's the Starburst, exactly. He had cash, I had Starburst. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, like with my mom,
not the Twinkies. Twinkies weren't going anywhere.
Well, that was also, by the way, that's the addiction side, right? Because he would drink and he was a functioning alcoholic.
Well, the other thing that you as you were describing him, I thought, Iranian alcoholic, opium.
Yes, and that came into play at like
a lot of opium smoking.
Oh
in the
yeah,
Iranian population.
and it was started less
that time.
Yeah, so it used to be just like for social, and then it became more.
But if he's got the gene,
oh yeah,
that will get into the relationship with mom, and that might be what you didn't know at the time, but that might have been the whole thing.
Absolutely, there was a lot of that stuff, and so
the big hookahs with the opium going.
Oh yeah, well
right?
the thing they do is they would get these like little, they get this little a grill, and then they would get the opium is like this brown. Like it looks
Square.
like a Rolo. It looks like a Rolo kind of.
Yeah.
And they would put it on this like weird looking pipe with a ceramic pipe, and then they would light it with charcoal, and they would smoke it.
Yeah.
And we would see it as kids.
No, there was a end of evening social activity.
We're gonna chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the joint. We have joints.
Yeah.
They had opium.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the book.
I never found out where they got it. There must have been a really close community, sort of source.
You know, I mean, obviously in Iran, they got it from Afghanistan. But I'm guessing, I think they would just bring it and they would find ways
to... It's always around. It's interesting. But the domestic abuse and stuff, every Iranian situation I've seen where there's domestic abuse, opium always figures into it.
I'm sure.
They're irritable. They're coming off during the day.
Yes.
They don't realize it, and they take it out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And my father, my father's story was interesting because he was the oldest son in a big family, and his father died at a young age. And I think his father had both alcohol problems as well as gambling problems. So my dad, and again, in our culture, you're the man of the house. So my dad became the man of the house at a young age. So
he was the oldest son?
He was the oldest son.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of pressure was put on him. And I think the way he used to cope with it back in the day was like, he's in Iran now. Like he was from northern Iran, this place called Tabriz, and he went to Tehran and started working, then brought his family there, and then became successful and provided for everybody. And so I think that the way he would, let loose is be drinking with his buddies. I remember as a kid, like when I was in, junior high school, he'd have his buddies over, and they would get those vodka bottles with the handle, the big ones that have the handle, and they would just have one of those out, and they would have like Persian food, and they would sit there for like 4 or 5 hours just drinking, sipping throughout the day, and just telling old stories. We come and go, and they're still there, and they're having a good time, as you said, and probably later that night, probably upset at my mom or whatever it is, and they would fight, and like hear my dad hitting my mom.
Oh, hitting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's traumatic.
Yeah, it was traumatic. Definitely. Yeah. I remember being a kid, and it would affect me in a very like I think when you see that in life, you either emulate it, or you go the exact opposite. I hate any kind of violence, even like whether it's physical one-on-one or if it's war.
How do you make that switch? Any sense of what the magic is of that moment? Because it really happens one way or the other.
I think for me, it was a lot of like, I love my father, but my mom, like, I was spending time with her, and she probably taught me early, like, you got to respect women, never hit a woman. Like, she probably said that kind of stuff.
She set it up.
Yeah. And so I remember I would like, if I upset my mom, she would give me the silent treatment. I mean, you may as well have just put an arrow through my heart. I mean, and I think about that now, like that's almost child abuse now, because I was like 5 years old, be like, Mom, she's like ignoring me. I'm like, Mom, like I was like, it was terrible, but we actually do that as a stress-inducing experiment for kids. It's called a still face. Yeah,
where the mom just has a still face.
Yeah,
we see what the kids do for like a minute.
Yeah,
and then restore it.
Yeah, no. She would. So now, by the way, she would hit us sometimes, but like it wasn't like mommy dearest, like with an iron or something. Like she used to like pull our ears, or like she would like hit you with like
she'd tweak you.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, but my father never hit us.
Were you too close to your mom?
I think I've always had this. If my father had it with his mother, like if there was anyone that could, besides his kids, the only other person that really had any kind of power over my dad was his mom. And I think with my mom too, I have like such a love and respect for her that I just,
We're going to examine, not just yet, gentlemen, but we're going to examine. What, do you want to do it now?
We could wait. I feel
Let's
like
wait a minute. Let's wait a minute. I'm going to show you a video of some other Iranian relationship with mom and see if it fits your profile.
Yeah. Well, I know, listen, I know some, again, it's a culture, it's almost like the Mediterranean macho culture, like, don't talk about my mother, I'll kill you, I'm not that crazy, but I do love and respect my mom, and there was one time when she fought with my dad and she left when I was like in the 6th or 7th grade, so at young adolescence, and I remember like crying and being sad that my mom's left and all that stuff. So that was another moment in my upbringing. And then the one time I remember, you love both of them, and when they're going at it, it breaks your heart. And then so by the time I was probably later in high school, I must have been like 11th grade or something. And I was exercising, getting bigger, lifting weights. It was the only time I remember where my dad was fighting with my mom and was like coming at her, and I got in the way and grabbed him. He was a pretty big guy. I grabbed him and I was very, calm down. It wasn't like, I'll kill you. It wasn't any of that stuff.
Let's bring it down.
Yeah. So those were definitely traumatic moments in my youth.
What'd you study? Did you stay at UCLA for a while, or did you?
So I did poli-sci Cal undergraduate with the Italian. Then I went to UCLA, and I did so. When I got in for poli-sci, I was going to get my PhD in political science and be a professor.
Did you study Italian history?
No, just the language.
You just liked Italian language.
Well, when I was an undergrad, this might work as a certain kind of trauma as well. Being Iranian in America, from the moment we got here, was a struggle. Because I say we're one of the only immigrant groups who came to this country, and then suddenly we were the enemies.
Right.
But we were leaving the country of the mullahs, where we were opposed to who they were.
Right.
But we come here and the hostage crisis happens. Now they're blaming us for the hostage crisis.
Right.
Now there's the Iran-Contra. Now there's the movie Not Without My Daughter. So there's all this stuff. So part of me, and also there was no one on TV that I could look up to and be like, oh, that guy's cool. He's saving the day, and he's Persian or Middle Eastern. So I started watching all the Italian films. Kind of fell in love with this culture of the Italian culture, because it felt close to me.
Somebody educated me the other day that Italy is not really. It's an artificial country, really artificial.
Right.
There's regions that speak the Italian that we know as Italian is not what's spoken all over Italy, and there's parts that speak German and parts that speak French, and there's parts that speak Catalan, and it's crazy.
Different dialects all over the place.
And Garibaldi just glued it all together and said, you're going to get along.
Yeah. Well, Iran is the same. Iran has many different backgrounds. Like my father being from the north, they spoke a Turkish dialect.
Wow.
Then there's like the Arabs in another place, and there's the Kurds. There's all kinds. And again, like you said, the Shah kind of brought everyone together and said, we're all going to learn the Persian language, and we're all going to, have this common language. So again, like you said, in Italy, you're right. If I go down to the south, I studied in the north. If I go down to the south and they speak their dialect, I won't even know what they're saying.
Literally different words.
Yeah.
Especially like Sicily and Naples and stuff, completely different.
Yeah, but I fell in love with that culture. So what happened was when I was at Cal, I took a class in Persian language because I can speak it, but my reading and writing is not that strong because I left in the first grade.
Sure.
And the problem was they didn't have something set up for someone who someone like me who spoke it but didn't read and write. They had either like basic, you don't do any of it, or they had like advanced, you do it all.
Right.
So I had to go in with the advanced people, and they were kicking my ass.
Yeah.
And at the end, the teacher graded me compared to everybody else, as opposed to saying, hey, you made some good progress.
Yeah.
So my grades suffered, and I was like, well, this is kind of sucky. And I go, you know what? I've always wanted to, I tried French in high school. It was all right. I was like, I've always wanted to try Italian.
Interesting.
I go into the Italian class, and the very first of all, this beautiful girl walks in. I swear to God.
Done.
Dude, I was like,
somehow that was going to figure into the story.
She was Argentinian, by the way, but
Whatever.
That's fine. And then the teacher goes, because in Italian, when you say, what's your name? You say, come ti chiami? And it just bounced. I go, come ti chiami? Mi chiamo Maz. And I was like, I love this language. Bro,
it's so musical.
It's musical. And I learned it. I studied it for a year and a half. And then I went to Italy for a year in college and studied abroad.
Where'd you live?
In Padova, which is Padua.
Yeah.
And it was maybe one of the best years of my life.
Was comedy figuring into your head at that point, or
no? Theater. Theater
was.
Yeah. So what I did was, I wanted to be Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy got into SNL at the age of 19.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to get there before him.
Oh.
Yeah. When I told my parents that I even wanted to act, they were like, oh hell no. I swear to God, we would go
after the PhD.
Yeah. No, listen, man. My parents would come to our plays, and they would say, first of all, let me tell you about the plays real quickly. So I think coming from this culture, this is another analysis of myself. Coming from this culture where you respect your elders, you don't talk back.
Yeah.
I learned to just listen to whoever, someone's an authority, right? So I sign up for the musical in my 7th grade. It was 7th and 8th grade was our school. I get into 7th grade musical. I think it was called The Boyfriend, if I'm not mistaken. I'm one of the background dancers. The director, her name was Shirley Bonbright. She goes,
teacher.
She was a director volunteering, right? She goes, listen, when you're doing a musical, you always got to be smiling. And, always smile when you sing, won't you, Charleston, with me? That was it, man. So I came in one day for a rehearsal, and I go, hey, Miss Bonbright, I'm sick, but I came because you told us to come. And she goes, okay, great. So we start the rehearsal. I'm sick, but I'm up there going, She stops the whole thing. She goes, stop, everybody stop. She goes, look at him. He's sick and he's singing and he's dancing and he's smiling. You all should learn from him. And I was like, who, me? I was like, this is great. And in analyzing later, I realized I come from this culture where they say, listen to Miss Bonbright. Whereas all my American friends were like, fuck Miss Bonbright. You know what I'm saying? So that helped me.
So the rest of your life, you're listening to Miss Bonbright?
I'm listening to Bonbright.
I'm going to smile and make people happy.
I'm telling you, man. So it was, so then.
Did you get hooked at any point to comedy? Was there a moment?
Well, that was, that hooked me to the stage.
Yeah.
And that was like, I want to do this. So then the 8th grade, I came back and I got the lead, Little Abner.
Ooh.
And my parents would come to the plays and then the director would be like, your son is really good. He's got the talent to do this. And my dad said, oh, great. And in the car, they'd be like, that bitch is crazy. You're not doing shit. So then I went into high school. We had a great theater program. And at that point, I was like trying to do some stand-up, but I was a little chicken to do the stand-up. But I was just in that path. So it was almost like leading double life because I was like, this is what I want to do.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get hooked on comedy.
You get hooked on it.
Yeah. Where was the hook, though? Usually there's a moment.
Well, the hook for me, it's just, I think it was probably that moment with Miss Bonbright saying you're doing the right thing. And then when I'm on that stage and people are clapping for you and you're singing and dancing and you're just like,
you're doing what Miss Bonbright told you to do.
You're doing what Miss Bonbright too, but it's getting laughs. You know what I'm saying? It's fantastic. And I'll be honest, there was actually an embarrassing moment too. Again, I talk about this in my stand-up, but my family would come and they would be the most overdressed family at the whole place. Because that's just what they do.
Yeah.
When Persians go out, I mean, it could be like they be going for frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
They're putting on a 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
And I remember my aunt was there, and I think she was wearing a mink coat. I'm like, oh my god,
It's a theater.
It's a theater, yeah. But meanwhile, it's a gym in middle school. And I swear to God, and all the other parents, because this is Northern California, so it's all like wealthy, but like they have
hippie
khakis and blue button up. And all of a sudden, it was some musical. I forget what number it was. We did it, and it stops, and everyone was going clapping. Next thing you know, my aunt like stands up like a beacon in the bravo, bravo, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! I'm like, please, I don't know her. I'm like, sit down. So
well, that's a good moment to switch over to this clip I want to show you.
Yeah. All right. So some intro on this, Maz, is I think you mentioned it earlier. That Middle Eastern men kind of have a relationship with their parents, right?
Yeah,
a very respectful relationship with mom. Yes, and it can be very tight. Ooh.
So Maz, I want you to weigh in on whether you think that this is something you see yourself acting.
And are they Iranian? No, they're not.
I don't think any of these people
are Middle Latina,
Eastern.
but go on.
Yeah, I don't think any of these people are Middle Eastern, but I think we could all relate, right?
All right, go for it. Let's see what happens.
My mother and I share the same bed. I'm the little spoon and she's the big spoon. We act alike, we dress alike. We're like twins. After this, I'll really look like you.
We party together, club together. I feel like my mom should live her life now like she's in her 20s. Why shouldn't she do that? Okay.
So, Maz, do you know any Persian women that kind of behave like this with their moms?
You know, I don't.
They don't do that with the girls.
Yeah, I don't. You know, it's interesting. I don't know. This is very extreme. Like the people that are actually. You know, it's funny you say that. There was. You run into some moms that obviously they say, you know, are you the mom? I am the sister. You know, like okay, come on, you're the mom.
Yeah.
You know, I actually had that. I was doing crowd work in Miami recently, and there was this girl who was like 20, and then the lady that next to her looked relatively young, but looked like the mom. I go, you're the mom? She goes, I'm the sister. And then later in the show, the 20-year-old was like, my mom. And I was like, Mom, just relax. It's all right to be a mom, you know?
Exactly.
But I tell you what I do see some of in our culture is the kid living in the house till he's like 35.
Oh, that's very common. That's very common. It's not just Iranian. That's everybody.
Yeah.
That's now a American trend.
Yeah.
But I think this is more about the mom trying to live through the daughter.
Absolutely. And this is like, I mean, this is like sick, you know, obviously it's like, you know, I mean,
extreme.
You know, it's interesting because our culture says like live close, be close. You know, even a lot of people, I don't know how it is now in Iran, but I remember when I was younger, it was like relatives would be close to each other. They'd be constantly visiting with each other in each other's businesses. If you needed a loan, you'd go to a cousin. You wouldn't go to a bank. It was all that. Then you come to America, of course, and then you're like, wow, I haven't talked to a human being in 6 months because no one's around. You know what I'm saying? So it's the other extreme.
Yeah.
So I feel like somewhere in the middle
is right.
There's a nice place to be where you know.
When there's some boundaries, but you have closeness also.
Absolutely. And as my kids are 8 and 10 now, so I'm constantly trying to find ways to encourage them to be more independent because it's so easy to be a helicopter parent nowadays. I certainly don't want to be going to a club with my son when I'm.
No.
I don't want that shit.
Well, don't worry, Maz. There's a couple other activities that they do together too.
Oh my God. Let's see.
Let's go through it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
If the water is still hot, we will share the bath water.
Oh my God.
If I could find a man version of Angelica, I would marry them in a heartbeat.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
She is the love of my life.
That's
Wow.
pretty healthy, right, Drew?
No.
No.
What about it is not healthy?
No boundaries. It's one ego mass. Everyone's responsible for everyone. If somebody, God forbid, has their own feelings, it's going to go bad.
You know how this could be.
Gotta go.
This could be very different if, as she was leaving, she said, we like to conserve water, so we use the same bathtub.
That would make sense.
We're conservationists,
Yes.
and we're looking for the same man.
Ugh.
We conserve. No.
Does this keep going?
Of course it does. Yeah, we have 6 more clips to show.
Oh my God. All right.
Christina lives 5 houses away from me. We meet for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Geez, you guys could shovel a little. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
You guys are wearing the same sweater. Really?
So they live 5 houses away from each other. That sounds like a dream come true, right, guys?
That sounds like a pitch at a sitcom.
Yeah.
You go, the mom lives 5 houses away, and we can't get rid of her.
Right. What's with that giant crystal in the foreground there?
That's what one of them's going to use to kill the other one.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
If that stays there very long, it might be used as a weapon.
By the way, if you are married to somebody else, like that's not good for that relationship either.
No. This is all bad. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we meet some of their husbands in a bit.
Oh my God.
Sister is very obsessed with my mom, and my mom is very obsessed with my sister.
You absolutely stalked me. You hired a private investigator to follow me.
That's crazy.
I have a right to know where you're at.
All pretty healthy, right?
Very
Absolutely.
healthy, perfectly normal, perfectly natural.
alone time, huh? Angelica made clear early in the relationship about her mother. Sometimes I do feel if Sun Hee wasn't in the picture, maybe things would be a little smoother.
I have the strongest influence in her life, and without my blessing, I doubt if she'll take it to the next step with you.
What do you think? Is this couple gonna make it?
No. The mom's name is Sun Hee. He's going to be Sun Who. He's going to be gone.
I have this very strong feeling that she's going to have to marry somebody gay.
Yes.
And this guy's not gay enough.
Yeah, I agree with you because he was petting that dog kind of
Yeah.
like, I could handle this for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what would, if he, that whole thing of like, if you can't beat him, join him. If he started like doing the nails with, you know what I'm saying? If he was like, let's go shopping.
That's how it's going to work.
That's how it's going to work.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking at you for guidance. I'm looking at you to say, this is too much. This isn't what should be projected for a mom and a daughter. You don't think anything's wrong with it. You're crazy.
Okay.
This guy seems like the most normal so far.
Not just that guy's the hero. That guy's
Yeah.
this guy. Thank God for this guy. What's his name? I want to build a little shrine to him.
Suge Knight. No. It's over. I mean, with this guy,
he's
he ain't
gonna
gonna
end
last.
it. Or he's not gonna last. One way or the other.
Yeah, no, he's
he's
leaving.
gonna put an end to this, or
Yeah.
he's out.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Wow.
I spend more time with my mom than my husband. You're just jealous because you can't be part of this.
You're right. I'm dying to be hanging out with my mother all day.
It really hurts my feelings when I feel like I'm completely out of the loop.
Where will I fit in? Like, I don't know where I'm gonna fit in.
Hold on, I got to pull the nails out of my eyeballs that I just stuck in there.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Those were two interesting ones. The first one with like the Italian guy, whatever that was.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that guy's like, all right, you do you. I'm gonna go bang some hookers.
Right.
Like
He could have done easily that.
That was that,
yeah,
right?
That was that. Or he's gay, or a little gay,
Yeah.
or whatever he's into.
Whatever
he's gonna
yeah.
go do it.
Yeah. And
Now
this one,
like, oof.
Would you accept my love?
Uh-oh.
This is not right.
What do you want me to do? Give it back?
Yeah.
It's like your dad.
Yeah.
It's your dad. When you had a full career coming.
Yeah.
And
This
he
is
said,
not
sorry,
right.
Sorry, no, that bitch is crazy. You're going down to UCLA.
give the ring back to Hollywood. You will not marry Hollywood. You know what? I'm wondering though, because obviously this is a
and
reality
you're not Jewish,
show.
so how's it
I'm not
possible?
it was a reality show. So I'm wondering, obviously that moment was set up.
Yes.
And I just
For
wonder
sure.
like how did that play? Because she is either, or maybe she's that crazy. Maybe she's that crazy.
Well, if you're a good producer, what
Yeah.
you're going to do is you're going to coach that dude up, and the bride's going to catch wind of it some way.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be a surprise to her, and
Yeah,
that's really
yeah.
your beat, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I think
Yeah.
it was a surprise to her.
Yeah. yeah.
So Drew, clearly, I mean, this is a produced reality show.
Yeah.
You know,
But
this
it's not.
isn't
It's
completely
not.
true,
This is the real deal.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like Suge Knight let me know this is real.
How,
Oh, yeah.
how do people get here, Drew? Like, how does a mother?
Oh, you
and daughter get here?
poor dear sweet people that don't know how sick people can get. You just don't know.
Yeah. It's a codependency, isn't it? It's like
it's an enmeshment that's called, and then the child gets all kinds of problems as a result.
Yeah.
Either feeling about fear of being swallowed up in a relationship, or seeking the enmeshment, or getting addicted to sex and other things.
Yeah.
It's this cycle of consumption and pushing away. It's not good.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I read an article. I forget what her name was, but there's a lady she's got 3 daughters. One of them is the co-CEO of YouTube.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
You hear about that?
Yeah,
the other one is the founder of 23andMe, and the third one is like a heart surgeon at UCSF.
Short article: How to raise successful kids.
How to raise successful kids. And one of the things she said was, she goes, at a young age, of course, she said, while we were living in Geneva, so it's a much nicer youth.
Right.
But she said, I used to let them go at 4 and 5 to go to the corner store to get stuff and come back.
Yeah.
And she goes, I called them, we called each other by our first name or something. I forget what that part was, but she basically gave them independence from a young age. And then you see these people who feel like they can go do stuff.
And there was had required them to do things too.
Yeah.
Like there was consequences and required them to earn things, and the genes were pretty good. Seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course, genes help too. Yeah.
So, is there more? Or we had enough of that.
That's it with
thank God.
Smothered.
Thank God. But thank you for bringing that to me.
You're welcome.
Did I send that to you?
No, that was
because you caught my eye too. I saw it online somewhere, and I was like, "Oh boy,
yeah,
it's a great show."
Minds think alike. Yeah, we're all very excited to watch it.
We have to take a little break. I want to tell you about our friends at Upstart. You've heard me talk about them before, and most of you know I found out the hard way: getting into debt is easy, but getting out is tough, especially if your FICO score is not great. Thankfully, now there is Upstart.com. It's a revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score, and it offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high interest rate credit card debt. Upstart goes beyond the traditional FICO score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on who you are, your education, your job history. It's a smarter interest rate as a result. Upstart believes you are more than just your credit score. They believe in you, and they understand that. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes without affecting your credit score. Best part, once loan is approved, most people get their funds the very next business day. That's crazy, the next day. Over 200,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards, student loans, fund their wedding, to make a large purchase, whatever it is. Upstart is your go-to. Free yourself from the burden of high interest rate credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked number 1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot. And hurry to upstart.com/Dr. Drew to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes, and it will not affect your credit score. That is upstart.com/Dr. Drew. Check it out, upstart.com/DRDREW. Well, the next sponsor is Made in Cookware. And perhaps you've been looking at your old cookware, your pots, pans, knives, and you wanted to upgrade to something, say, a world-famous chef would like, say Brooke Williams. But how could you justify that investment? I mean, they use world-class equipment. How could I afford that? Well, I've been there, and I got to tell you, when my Made in Cookware showed up, I was literally blown away. I mean, this stuff is gorgeous. I'm telling you, trust me on this. It is beautiful cookware. I've been there with the old stuff, and the Made in Cookware arrived. Oh my goodness. And better tools make better food, right? Made in spend so much time crafting their products. It just seems wait till you see this stuff. It's amazing. They know better tools make better food. All their pots, pans, carbon steel, chef's knives, all made by the best cookware makers from the US and France. That's it. That's foreign made. I knew there was something really good about it. Just kidding. It's also made in the US. Good cookware should be accessible. Made in offers fair pricing and is only sold online, which cuts out that high retail store pricing. That's right. I got my cookware, and I use it constantly. And my wife, of course, cooks all the time, and she loves it. She's a very excellent cook. I not so much, but I do make breakfast every morning, and I use Made in Cookware. Shopping for cookware can be confusing. Oh, God knows I don't know what I'm doing, but Made in offers a single line of essential pieces, simplifying the process. Quality is guaranteed. Made in offers free shipping, free returns, 24/7 customer support, lifetime guarantee on all their products. That's what I'm talking about. It's beautiful cookware. Take your cooking to the next level today. Go to madeincookware.com/Drew. It's not Dr. Drew. It's just Drew in this case. Use promo code DREW and you get 15% off your first purchase. That's excluding the kits. Madeincookware.com/Drew. cookware, MADEIN cookware.com/Drew, promo code Drew for 15% off your first purchase. Madeincookware.com/Drew, promo code Drew, and you'll get that 15% discount for that beautiful cookware. Our next sponsor is Best Fiends. Get it, everybody, like best friends, but it's Best Fiends. And perhaps you're looking for a fun way to pass time while you're doing something else. I literally did it today while I was doing a radio broadcast. I'm embarrassed to tell you. I was on the Best Fiends. They have an app, and it's on the website. It's easy to use, easy to download, and it's beautiful graphics. I mean, it's crazy interesting graphics. I am terrible at games like this, so I had to get my son involved, adult son, full disclosure, and he had to school me on how to do this. And once I was properly schooled on how to do it, it's simple and it's fun. And it's a unique, exciting puzzle experience. Unlike other puzzle games out there, Best Fiends updates the game monthly with new levels and events, so it never gets old. If you find yourself playing in, weird random places at random times, well, you're going to be like me. That's right. All right, so engage your brain with the fun puzzles and collect tons of these cute characters. Again, the graphics are phenomenal. You'll understand what I'm talking about immediately as soon as you go to the game. It is 5-star rated mobile game on the Apple App Store and Google Play. There's a reason for that. Download it for free, like I did today at the Apple App Store or at Google Play. That is Best Fiends. That's like friends without the R. Best Fiends. Download it today. Play with your family like I did. Engage your brain. It is Best Fiends. You'll love the graphics. Now it's time for us to get back to the show. You were about to finish a story that I wrote down, Latino porn.
Latino porn. Oh, yeah. So I was saying when you showed me when you showed the mom and the daughter next to each other, they look Latina. I just remember at one point, like when VHS was still out, somebody took a Latino porn because we didn't have Iranian porn actors in America yet. Oh, I think we have them now.
That's racist.
Yeah. But I know, talk about tough industry to break into. Like, Dad, I want to do Hollywood. No, how about porno? Okay. It's like, no, but someone had taken a Latino porn and dubbed it over with Persian, dubbing. Yeah. But they weren't doing it to be funny. Like the actors were like speaking Persian and they were really like, they were like, they had to watch the thing and be like, oh, Majid, oh yes, oh, Fatima, whatever it was. I remember the Iranians were happy. They're like, oh, we have a porno, finally. Yeah.
So you didn't answer me yet, though. What was your sort of study in political science?
So poli-sci, I was going to study. So when I went to get my PhD, I was going to study, basically I was going to study either revolutions or terrorism. Those two things really interested me.
Oh, UCLA had a big department with the terrorist stuff, right?
Yeah. I used to do jokes about some of that stuff, but before even September 11th, I was just really interested in not just Middle Eastern terrorism. Like, I studied, I was reading about, for example, the Red Brigade in Italy, where they kidnapped the president of Italy in like the late 70s. There was like 78 or 79. His name was Aldo Moro. I mean, imagine they I think they were leftists and they were communists or something, and they basically like killed the guy's security, took him, and then he was missing for several days, and then finally they found him in the back of a trunk. They'd killed the president.
Wow.
I mean, that to me, it's just like that kind of stuff. When I see it, I go, wow, what gets someone to that point?
Yeah.
How do people? I just want to understand that stuff. And also, like for example, like the Olympics, 72 Olympics with the Israeli team. Like what gets people there? So it was very interesting to me. Even these 19 guys. Like I just watched that the Hulu show, the Looming Tower. Did you see that one?
I did not see it, but I know of it.
And the book is interesting. It just talks about the buildup of Al Qaeda, and just like you sit there and you go, how do these people who were, some of those hijackers were actually educated? They had stuff going on.
How about the guys? Where was it? They blew themselves up recently in. Where was it? They were like upper middle class, educated.
Yes. It was in Sri Lanka.
They're
absolutely
petting kids on the head.
Yeah.
They went in and blew them all up. Like,
it's crazy, and it's and now you see it too with like the mass shootings we have. Like sometimes you go when you can't explain it, you go, why did that guy do what he's doing?
Well, these are all different things, but some of it now is we don't think enough about the power of belief systems.
Yeah,
belief systems can motivate people to do a lot of horrible things.
Yeah,
and we have to be serious about studying that, it seems to me.
Absolutely. So I was very interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the irony of it is,
fuck it, I'm going to do comedy.
I'll do comedy. Well, I continue to be, I love comedy. By the way, when I was at UCLA studying that stuff, I would I went and auditioned for the main stage play at UCLA. It was like their big play. So all the actors from the theater department were auditioning.
Your dad must have loved it.
Well, my dad, he was in Iran at the point. He went back to Iran. But I went on audition and I got the part.
Back to Iran.
You got out of here. Get out of here. I got the part. So I was doing a play at UCLA and it was so artistic and it was so great and I felt so good and I felt alive again.
Oh.
So at night I would go do 4 hours of rehearsal. By day I'd go to class, and then every time we're in any of our poli-sci classes, it would always come to what's our role as political scientists? And the teachers would say, listen, our role is to come up with a theory, publish or perish, and you go around the world defending it. And if you're lucky, some politician might listen to you and use it for something. So it felt very kind of futile the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, if it's publish or perish, I'm going to perish. I want out of this.
Well, I like the idea, though, that you felt alive on stage. That's pretty compelling feeling. You can't escape that.
I love that. To this day, I mean, I was like hanging out with some comedians. Like, I love being around my people. And I think, first of all, the other thing I've learned in kind of analyzing myself a little bit, I think, I don't know, I won't call it ADD, but I do have like this attention span that kind of whenever I'm in like a meeting or something, I start wandering. Mm-hmm. So when we have like our school has stuff for the parents, I mean, I listen to like 20% of it. The other 80%, I'm all over the place. I can't focus. I just get bored. So I thought, wow, I picked a job where I have to talk for an hour on stage and pay attention, and they got to pay attention to me.
Yeah, make sure they don't wander.
Yeah, make sure they don't wander. And I'm here, I'm with you, with you. Or if I'm acting, I did a job where, I could be dilly-dallying, and then they go, okay, here we go, action, and I'm on, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of, I think I ended up,
I saw you in something. Were you in Curb Your Enthusiasm or something recently?
I did Curb a while back. They might have been running it again. I played the Indian Sikh, the season when Larry goes to New York to do the producers with David Schwimmer.
Right.
They end up in New York at a hotel and his air conditioning is not working. And I play the Indian Sikh and I have this like goofy looking turban on at the time. And he doesn't tip me, and then he gives me tickets to go to see his play. And so that was that. It was fun. It was a blast.
Oh my God, that must be so much. Speaking of being alive, that must be like.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. Improving is so much fun, especially like in that, like when I did that. I remember I did a take, and then I went over to the directors or whoever it was. I go, hey guys, do you remember what I did last time? Because I just want to do it again. And then Jeff Garland was there. He's like, no, just do something different. And I go, I can do something different? Because as an actor, you're supposed to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, don't worry about it. We got that one. Do another one. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And you're just creating on the spot, and it's some of the most fun things in the world.
Especially with the people you're working with.
Oh, it's so great, man.
Yeah.
So great.
Well, speaking of great, we have a bunch of emails and voicemails. Why don't we start with a voicemail, Nadav? Let's try that for starters, just so we can break Maz's hymen here a little bit.
No problem.
Yes.
Coming right up.
Hi, Dr. Drew. This is Cody. I have a kind of two-part question for you. My friend with benefits that I'm messing around with has ovarian cysts.
Mm-hmm.
And her doctor said she should probably be on birth control. But when she tried that, it completely murders all of her sex drive. She's like, this is no fun. So she went off it, and then she had one of them burst about a month ago. So it's pretty much just condoms. But now here's the two-parter. For some reason, I'm great golden. I can do about 3 busts before I go soft, but as soon as you throw a condom on, just done. It's like dick kryptonite. Is there anything I can do about that? And is there any kind of birth control that she can take that won't let her cyst pop, that won't kill her sex drive?
See, these are good questions, right?
Thanks.
I like that. Want to address it at all?
Did he say that she has a cyst? Is that what it was?
Ovarian cyst. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So there's got to be condoms that are more sensitive. Aren't there some that he could try?
There's something for some guys, and he sounds like one of these guys that just taking the break even to put the condom on, they can lose their mojo.
I see.
And so what Adam and I used to always tell people, it's like, how many hours of video game do you play a week? You practice video game. This is important. Practice putting a condom on fast.
Yeah.
And maybe learning to masturbate with it so you get a sense of what it feels like.
Yeah.
And just practice that.
She can tickle your butthole while you're doing it.
Well, she doesn't have to be there. You can do it by yourself.
I'm just saying.
Whatever.
That might help.
God, thank God your dad's dead. So
yeah, my dad's right now. What? You are a disgrace to the community. You should have been a doctor. You should have been a lawyer.
So let me try to iron this out a bit. So that's the condom piece. The friends with benefit with the ovarian cyst that needs a birth control, it's the progesterone that kills the sex drive. So these very powerful progesterone agents, they're more safe, they're very good, but they kill the sex drive and they cause vaginal drying and all kinds of stuff. So have her go back to the pill and talk to the doctor about something with estrogen, maybe a lot of estrogen, or perhaps they use, there's other things the doctor can mess around with hormonally, but try a pill that's not so powerful on the progesterone side and maybe has some estrogen, and maybe that will do the trick. Let's hear another one.
Hi, I'm Javante from Utah. I listen to the podcast all the time. I'm definitely a mommy. Just had a quick question. My mom, I believe, is borderline. I've been going to therapy to try to fix. I feel like I was a victim of a lot of what she's done, shutting out family and pushing everyone to the side. And if I'm not on her side, then
right.
I'm totally against her.
Right.
My brother committed suicide a long time ago, and shortly after, she was saying that she was going to just to make everyone feel bad for her. And I'm just wondering how can I deal with that? What should I love her from a distance, or what should I do?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, buddy.
Piss on
All right.
Beat me. Have a good day.
I'll piss on you, beat you. You have to be around here more to understand that.
When he
part.
says borderline, does that mean borderline like bipolar, depressive?
No, it's called borderline personality disorder.
Oh, okay.
And it's a very chaotic. Women are more common with the borderline than men. Unregulated hostility, not so much unregulated aggression, but unregulated hostility.
Right.
Black-white thinking. You're either all in or all out. Remember, I said that she split it. It's called splitting. You split people against each other.
Yeah.
Preoccupations with abandonment, a lot of self-destruction, a lot of identity issue, a lot of suicidality. So she sort of has the syndrome.
Yeah.
And he wants, how do I deal with this? I mean, bottom line, you're getting therapy, stay in therapy. You need to stay for a while. You have to sort of, the levels of trauma that a borderline can sort of create for a particular male child sometimes, you have to kind of work it through, and it takes time. I will tell you that you'll know you're making progress when you start to feel bad for her and feel forgiveness for her, and maybe even some gratitude for whatever positive she was, whomever she was, or whatever it is about living through this experience, what it taught you. So forgiveness and gratitude, when those feelings start to emerge, you know you're sort of on the right track. But it is therapy, and you got to do it. You're doing it, so keep doing it. It's not like there's a recipe or some cognitive cocktail I can give you. Do this and do that, and you'll feel so much better. No, it's rough. It's rough. All right, let me switch gears again. This is Kingston, 24 years old, appendix gallbladder removed. Every time I make brown, this is your mom's house.
Yeah.
I wipe completely clean, sometimes use a wet wipe after and dry one after that. Within 2 hours, I feel itchiness in my bum and have to wipe 3 or 4 times again. This can't be avoided even though I go shit to shower, which is Christina's move.
Okay.
Shit and then shower.
She showers after every shit.
Don't wipe. Just go shit to shower.
Holy moly.
Yeah. This.
Wow.
I'm so proud. This can't be avoided even if I go shit to shower. Even if I've never had anything inserted into my anus. Sadly, this is a male or female? Male. And
Kingston, that's a male.
Yeah, and I'm worried I'll have a leaky butthole forever. I'm poor, so seeing a doctor isn't going to happen. Can you help me?
He's got a leaky butthole.
He has a leaky butthole. Remember that Rob and Big? Remember that show on MTV?
No, I don't remember Rob and Big.
What's Rob's that does ridiculousness? Rob Deerdeck.
Yeah.
He had a show called Rob and Big before. And Big was big. A big African-American gentleman.
Right.
4.5 bills if he was an ounce.
Okay.
And he used to work on helicopters for the Air Force.
Okay.
And he'd be out all day and have this problem.
Oh, no.
So he invented, there's Big.
Holy moly.
That's Big. Big had been on a diet there.
He had a leaky, he had to be on a helicopter?
No, he was on the ground doing repair, doing mechanical over the helicopter. And he invented what he called the man pond.
Oh.
Which was a roll of toilet paper, and he would just...
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
That's what I'm saying.
So he used to put a whole toilet paper roll up his butt.
He's a big dude.
So for this guy, you got to use...
Well, now here's the thing about Kingston. He's had his gallbladder removed. That's for a 24-year-old, that means big dude. Usually.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And the appendix and all this stuff makes me think this is another big guy.
So you think another whole roll of toilet paper up the butt?
Well, that's Big's solution, not mine. Mine is lose some weight.
Yes.
Because the pressure of all that weight, you have pressure and it pushes to the exit
the leakage.
door.
Yeah.
And
he's like the Exxon Valdez.
Exxon Valdez. When you say it in Iranian, we said Valdez here.
Valdez, sorry, Valdez. I was trying to be Latino. He's like the Exxon Valdez. The Exxon Valdez. Yeah, of course.
And bulk, so Metamucil. Lots of it.
Metamucil would
give him a little bulk to
bulk in there.
Stool.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people, some goes the other way, but he might help him.
Oh, poor
I'm
guy.
an 18-year-old girl, I live in Salt Lake City. I have some questions that happened to me the other night. I was at the end of the night. I was almost done. I went back to my parking lot after work to take out a trash bag. I saw one of our coworkers jerking off. Obviously, I was startled. I just wanted to go away. So I said we would forget about it like it never happened. But now I'm not sure if I should keep it a secret. I think he was embarrassed. I mean, hopefully that's not like his thing. But either way, I don't want to get him fired. This is someone my boyfriend and I are friends with.
Hilarious.
She hasn't really set it up. Is it about her?
Yeah. Was she looking at you?
Yeah, right.
He's into women taking out trash?
Right.
Oh,
we work with him every day up till now. I really liked him. I'm mainly confused and don't know how to deal with it. Why was he doing it outside?
That's actually being very, very considerate. Not many people go outside and masturbate.
I just love how women just cannot get their head around men and their craziness.
But by the way, this is Utah. That's like the problem she's got in Utah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is happening downtown LA right now, every block.
But she goes on. She makes actually good sense here. We have a bathroom in the restaurant. There are cameras back there. Literally anyone could have seen him. Did he want to get caught? Which sort of suggests he was into some sort of voyeuristic whatever. I don't know if I should tell my boss or keep it to myself, but I can't act normal to him. I've seen him do this after I've seen him doing the dark arts. So
I mean, why is it such a dark art?
My favorite email.
I mean, masturbation is healthy, I think.
Yeah, but doing it in a camera outdoors. Bathroom, good. Camera on where you caught.
Who knows?
Part of the thrill for this guy, maybe, and that's not good. I would give him another chance.
Wait. She's 18 years old, by the way, right?
Yeah.
So this guy could have been 18, 19. They're friends, right?
Yeah.
You know how it is when you're 18 or 19. You're getting hard-ons every two minutes.
Yeah. No, the need to masturbate is perfectly fine.
Maybe he did it in the bathroom and was on his way to the car and started masturbating again.
Got struck with the
I'm just
mood.
saying. Stop judging.
Right. So
you and your garbage taking self. You throw that garbage away. You mind your own business. Go ahead, Dr. Drew.
So I'm advocating the same. I'm advocating that she give him another break.
Yes.
See if he can contain himself. And if he starts doing stuff in public, it'll become obvious. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It'll be
of
a
course.
thing. Men don't do things part time.
Yeah. If he comes to work with a trench coat, walk away.
Get out of there. 23-year-old male, I've slept with my eyes open all my life. What the fuck is up with that? Can I damage them? Piss on me, beat me. Regards, Jacob.
Hilarious.
No, you can dry your eyes out. Some people actually have to tape their eyes shut at night. But if you're not having any symptoms, it's just damn creepy. Next voice message.
Hey, Dr. Drew. So I'm in the market for getting a tattoo, and obviously I know several people that have them, but I'm just a little bit scared with how it works relative to your health, I suppose. Tattoos detrimental? I'd love to have some doctor's answer. Thank you.
Okay, not detrimental, but if it's not you want to be in states where they pay some attention to the hygiene of these things. You want them opening up sterilized equipment.
Is it illegal in Alabama?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you worry about hepatitis C and that kind of stuff being transmitted, but that's very rare in states that keep an eye on these things. The ink itself is no big deal. The pain is a big deal. I don't understand sometimes why they don't use more of the topical anesthetics. There's really good ones now.
Yeah. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Neither do I.
No.
Neither do I.
It does not interest me. However, I have this feeling that if I were like a young millennial, I'd just get swept into it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the pain, but I guess if, a friend of mine got it around our age, and he said he just had a couple glasses of tequila and was, just resting and doing it and not looking at the guy while he was doing it.
What'd he get?
I forget what he got. He got whatever he got, it was just like...
It's like that's a commitment at later in life to be getting tattoos.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a big, it wasn't the whole arm.
No sleeve.
Yeah. But I mean, I could imagine
if you're going to do it, why not go all the way? I mean, because as you age, you get all these sun damage to your skin.
Yeah.
Why not just...
do the whole thing.
Just do the whole thing.
Healthy. How about can they tattoo healthy-looking arms on you?
Oh. Yeah, just muscular definition.
Tattoo biceps on me.
For the last few weeks, I have a problem with my yellow. Is this now a thing that we have brown and yellow?
I mean, yeah.
It's the first time I've heard that. I've heard white.
Oh, yeah, that Bert, I think, came up with that. But
yes, he did.
When you go to the bathroom, sometimes you're brown, sometimes you're yellow.
All right. I feel like I have to, pretty much every day, all day, every day, I feel like I have to pee. Every time I go through, though, it just dribbles. Usually one of the times every day will be much longer, but the lead up to it doesn't feel any different. The pee doesn't burn. It's not painful. I just want to know why it constantly feels like I want to pee. It doesn't say if this is a male or female. So urgency, that is called, and that urgency can be caused by lots of things. prostatitis, bladder stones, urethral infections, urethral strictures. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So you want to see a urologist about that. So.
Yeah, I've had a thing where I pee a lot my whole life. And then recently I was peeing a lot more than I normally was.
Diabetes.
But I was smart. Well, actually a friend of mine said diabetes. I got tested for that. It wasn't that. I went to my urologist and he was just saying, one of the things they said was that, like you said, it's like they said the bladder's healthy. I've got a small prostate and there's a slight blockage, not enough to cause a lot of, but I had them test it.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a...
No, I didn't do that. No, so what they did was they put this like this little Velcro thing around my penis while I peed, and it had like this tube that was connected to something that was, and then it was like a blood pressure thing. It would tighten as you're peeing, and then you were peeing into this like big filtery thing.
Yep.
So it would go in.
It's calculating flows. That filter calculates flows as the pressures are.
So they ultimately said, listen, you're fine right now, and just like, try playing with your diet a little bit. Maybe like I haven't
Why do you have a urologist?
Well, first of all, it's one of my best friends is a urologist.
Okay, that's why.
But secondly, I went to my primary physician and said, "Look, I'm peeing a lot, so let me go see the urologist."
Got it.
And then the other thing is because I drink water all day long.
Yeah, me too.
And he said, obviously it's just basic, right? He goes, just try drinking less towards the end of the night, so you won't wake up as much. And I've done it, and it's actually helped a little bit.
Shocking.
Yeah, and stop the coffee for now. But I'm dying to get back to coffee.
I had a reflux problem. I had to stop my coffee for a while. I missed it.
And are you back on it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Not as much as I was, but
I miss it.
It was I could anything else, no problem.
Yeah,
coffee.
It's the ritual of it too. I looked forward to waking up, and I didn't make my own. I like to go to coffee shops.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah,
everything about it.
I liked everything. And by the way, sometimes I get annoyed because I would go to the same coffee shop, and then people that I knew would keep like I'd be trying to get through my day, but these people I've run into, acquaintances.
Yeah.
And then they just start talking to you.
Oh.
And you're like, dude, I want to just drink my coffee and check my emails or read my paper, man.
Which is your coffee shop?
I was going to. There was a Pete's. There was a Pete's I was going to, but my favorite coffee shop in the world is Kings Road Cafe over there on Beverly. Have you ever been? Right near the Beverly Center, right near Cedar Sinai, that area.
Okay.
So if you go on Beverly Boulevard in Kings, it's called Kings Road Cafe, and their coffee
I've seen it.
is like this high octane. It's almost like
busy there all the time, right?
It's busy all the time. But if you like coffee, if you like strong coffee, they have this just a regular cup of coffee. It's just like a big cup of espresso almost.
Ooh.
They just make it strong and delicious. And I thought I was the only one that was addicted to it. But then I would go, and literally every day I'd see the same people, and I was like, everyone is spending thousands of dollars a year.
Where do you park over there?
On the side street on Kings, you can park.
Now I'm obsessed.
Go check it out.
I'll see you there.
I'll see you there.
Maz, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me, man.
Great job.
Thank you.
Where should we find you? What's coming up?
I've got a new podcast. It's called Back to School with Maz Jobrani. I bring on experts. Why you should come on.
Need to come on.
Let's come on. I bring on experts. We do it at in Burbank at All Things Comedy.
Perfect. Easy.
You come, we'll get you on, and we talk about stuff, and we just have fun with it. You'd be perfect.
Done.
So I've been bringing on people from like God experts to shoe experts, shoe business. Like it runs the gamut.
I love it.
So Back to School with Maz Jobrani, and I'm at Maz Jobrani on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Check me out.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, buddy.
See you soon.
All right.
See you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.